Right, so pre-battle, and we've rolled for initiative. I've won. Mission is extraction. I'm going to come in from this board edge, go across these ruins, and extract from somewhere on that half of the city. And we have 2 assault tanks and 4 other mechs, which have been already told about in the intro. And yeah, we're going from there. So this is initiative rolled for turn 1. So the end of turn 1, no shots fired. We have electromagnetic interference rules in effect, which is -2, or sorry, +2 to hit, because it's Battletech. +2 to hit, and with everything either running, so we have the Black Hand Brigade mercenary unit, they've run up. And then we have the defenders as well.
Capellan militia.
The Capellan militia have moved up. Everything's super long range, looking for 13, so no shots fired, and this is how it's looking so far. With the Black Hand Brigade looking for an extraction on the far side of the board. So that's the end of turn 1. So at the end of the second turn, we have the Black Hand Brigade have moved up. Very quietly, the medium mechs use these level 2s to block line of sight from the Rifleman and Marauder. Apart from that, there's no other shots either that connected due to the interference, adding +2 to the dice rolls. We have the Clint and the Phoenix Hawk jumped up, which pumped their numbers up too high to get any decent shots, but it also meant that they couldn't really be hit. So nothing has connected as of yet, and that's how we're looking at the end of turn 2. So, end of the second turn. Things of note. This, or third turn, sorry. End of the third turn. Things of note. The Crusader, while running through the rubble, failed his pulling skill roll. Managed to get up again and ended up in this hex here instead of this hex beside the Thunderbolt he was aiming for, which worked out in the end. The combined firepower of the rest of the mechs, there's still a lot of stuff missing because of the interference, which is adding +2 to all of the shooting rolls. They stripped some armor from the Phoenix Hawk, but it's still up and operational. The Thunderbolt managed to get a few motive critical hits against this Brutus tank, Brutus assault tank, and a commander critical hit. And in return, the Thunderbolt has had some armor stripped from him as well. No hits going out against these other guys over here at all. Did Clint get any hits at all? No, there's a lot of misses going on because of the interference rule that we have in operation. So that's the end of the third turn. So this is the end of turn 4. We've had an awful lot of shooting again. The Thunderbolt got focused down. He's had an awful lot of armor stripped from him. Well, relatively speaking, that's how his sheet's looking. He's down to half on his arm and his left arm and his left leg. He was a bit toasty from the last turn. In fact, most of my mechs were a bit toasty from the last turn. Things of note from my shooting. I managed to hit the assault tank, didn't I, with the large laser?
Yes.
Well, that's about it.
Armor.
The poor Marauder missed with everything against the Thunderbolt. There was a lot of firepower going towards the Thunderbolt. Again, the interference is having a massive effect on the game. The Wolverine tried for 2 punches and shot with its med laser in its head. Managed to hit with the med laser. Missed with the punches. The Griffin as well, being toasty, jumped behind the Rifleman to try and get some punches in and managed to get a critical on his medium laser. The right torso, was it?
Yep.
Right torso, medium laser. And the Crusader is doing...
Jack all.
Yeah, not much. He had to go into a sort of defensive movement because of initiative rolls. So that is the end of turn 4. We're looking at things. So we're coming in at the end of turn 5. Yeah, we had a few hits from the Thunderbolt in against the assault tank. We had the Crusader getting up the point blank range with the Rifleman, trying to get shots in, doing a little bit of armor damage, not much. The Griffin tried to get his PPC into the back of the Rifleman, but couldn't get in arc and then missed with his fire. And then the Wolverine managed to get some decent hits into the back of the rifleman, but missed with the large laser, so he's going to be toasty afterwards. But he did get a few hits. As for the Lao defenders, they're shooting. Anything of note?
Not really, no.
The Lao defenders missing.
A lot of missing.
A lot of missing on both sides, to be honest. Managed to miss with the physical. Couldn't get a physical in on the rifleman because I keep forgetting the Crusader has the SRMs on the legs, and he fired the meds as well. So no kicking or punching because he fired weapons on those limbs. The Griffin did manage to connect with the Clint, but no criticals. Went internal, but no criticals. Both Lao defenders missed with their physicals, but stood standing. We've managed to get 2 engine hits on the rifleman with the firepower from the Wolverine. It's the 6M variant. So Wolverine managed to get 2 engine hits. So
Force withdrawal.
The rifleman is now force withdrawal. We're using force withdrawal rules throughout the campaign. And what's the floating critical one we use?
It's just called floating critical.
And we use floating critical rule as well. So if you get a snake eyes, you roll the location again instead of just automatically going center torso. So that is the end of turn 5. We have still yet to pick up the contact in the city. We are looking at the end of turn 6, where we've had quite literally very little going on again due to the interference. I quite craftily managed to maneuver after Marauder backed himself up against the level 1. I managed to maneuver both the Griffin and the Crusader into its right arc so it could only get the arm on. The Clint jumped into the rear arcs. We had punches being swung with the Griffin and not much going on. The all-important large laser with the Wolverine into the back of the rifleman did not connect. I think the only bit of fire we had that connected was the Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt hit with a large laser, and one of the Zuko's hit with a large laser.
Yeah, and they returned a large laser. So he managed to get a large laser hit on the rear one, which is the damaged one. It's the one with the 2 critical hits and the commander killed. And in return, he got hit with a large laser. The Phoenix Hawk managed to connect a kick in against the Thunderbolt, and the Thunderbolt missed its punch back at the Phoenix Hawk. So that's how things are looking at the end of turn 6. That rifleman is, with its 2 engine hits, it's slowly cooking itself. So we'll see what happens. So we are looking at the end of turn 7. We've had some shenanigans happen. First things of note, in the movement phase, the Marauder, which was in this wood hex here, tried to move up to get a bead on the Crusader, which had moved beforehand due to losing initiative, but managed to find a basement. So tried to go into a building, didn't cause any damage to himself, but then fell into a basement and took a knock on the head. I think he hit himself in the head, didn't he? But the pilot's still conscious. The rifleman will be removed from the table, if that's up to you now, if you want to, as he was on his last legs with 2 engine hits, so couldn't sink any heat, and decided to hell with it, pushed the red button against the Wolverine, and then managed to cook off his ammo. He proceeded to roll snake eyes for the ammo roll, so the rifleman is literally no more, so no salvage for me, but yay for there being a rifleman gone. Over here we had the Clint, an awful lot of shooting, and did you manage to hit with anything on your side with these guys over here?
Overall, large laser, and that's it.
Large laser that got a hit in. Thunderbolt managed to throw some of its LRMs at the Phoenix Hawk and strip a back panel, did it?
Yeah, center torso
rear on the Phoenix Hawk has been stripped. I managed to miss with my physical here in the Griffin, and the Clint is on its ass because it managed to miss its physical against the Crusader. So this is how things are looking for now. The Lao defenders have lost their rifleman. The Marauders chilling in the basement. We got a few motive crits against this Brutus tank here with the Crusader. And that one is on 2 motive crits as well, I think, with the commander missing. So this is how things are looking at the end of turn 7. Our main mission is to extract the agent, which is what the Thunderbolt is doing. He's extracting from the level 1 medium building over here. which I marked down. Oh, I'll try to keep it on screen. I secretly marked down. This is why each of the hexes have a number in case you haven't played Battletech before. So that if you have an objective, so I wrote down 0702. That's that building. So the Thunderbolt's going to stay within one hex of that building for a turn. So he's not moving this turn, but he can still shoot. So that's our main mission objective. Our secondary is to take out the Clint and the Phoenix Hawk. So we're going to go into turn 8 and see how that pans out. End of turn 8. We have the Thunderbolt moving out after the extraction. Clint had some rear shots.
Missed everything.
But missed. The tank, due to its mode of crits, couldn't really move far. Didn't have any shots that it could hit with. I mean, it had line of sight on the Griffin, but the interference is just knocking all the hit numbers sky high for a lot of stuff. Crusader took a large laser off of the Marauder. Was it in the leg?
Yes.
Yeah, took a large laser off the Marauder. The Marauder is also hit. Sweet FA, most game. We have the only bit of damage this turn, I think, was against the Phoenix Hawk. He took a PPC from the Griffin in the back.
Ripped the whole left side off.
So his left torso's gone and left arm, and his right arm was brought off previously, so he's now forced withdrawal. And the Wolverine threw in a few meds for good measure, but yeah, that's how it's looking so far. We have the Phoenix Hawk as forced withdrawal, and the rest of the guys are just trying to extract off the board. Our secondary, we still need to cripple that Clint. And yeah, try and mitigate potential damage. So this is what it's looking like at the end of turn 8. Of turn 8, we have the Thunderbolt moving out after the extraction. Clint had some rear shots.
Missed everything.
But missed. The tank, due to its mode of crits, couldn't really move far. Didn't have any shots that it could hit with. I mean, it had line of sight on the Griffin, but the interference is just knocking all the hit numbers sky high for a lot of stuff. Crusader took a large laser off of the Marauder. Was it in the leg?
Yes.
Yeah, took a large laser off the Marauder. The Marauder is also hit. Sweet FA, most game. We have the only bit of damage this turn, I think, was against the Phoenix Hawk. He took a PPC from the Griffin in the back.
Ripped the whole left side off.
So his left torso's gone and left arm, and his right arm was brought off previously, so he's now forced withdrawal. And the Wolverine threw in a few meds for good measure, but yeah, that's how it's looking so far. We have the Phoenix Hawk as forced withdrawal, and the rest of the guys are just trying to extract off the board. Our secondary, we still need to cripple that Clint. And yeah, try and mitigate potential damage. So this is what it's looking like at the end of turn 8. So we're looking at the end of turn 9. We have a lot of the Black Hand Brigade mechs are very toasty. The Crusaders managed to avoid a shutdown of Void on a 4+. He's on like 14 heat. The Thunderbolt skyrocketed with heat as he dumped quite a lot of firepower. He's immobilized the tank with the 3 meds, the SRM and the large laser, and then he chucked LRMs at the Marauder. The Crusader fired his meds, his SRMs into the Marauder. Pretty much everything on my side of the board this turn, dumped everything into the Marauder, and then he failed his PSR roll, so that's how the Marauder is on his ear. We managed to take out the PPC with a critical hit.
Yeah, as well as open the left torso, 1 heat sink destroyed.
So that mech was what? Pretty much
pristine. Apart from a bit of fall damage.
Pretty much pristine before the start of the turn, and we managed to concentrate a bit of firepower on him. So yeah, this is how we're looking. We're super toasty. The Phoenix Hawk is crippled. It's not got either arm and missing the torso. So we just need to take out the Clint and just withdraw off the board. So that's the end of turn 9. So we're looking at the end of turn 10. Short and sweet, the quickest round of the game so far. No firepower coming from the Black Hand Brigade at all. We had a lot of mechs cooling down, very hot. Clint jump jetting back up onto this high building. He's now perched on a level 3 with a level 4 lip. We have the Phoenix Hawk withdrawn. We had the Marauder opening up and managing to hit with a medium. I can't even talk. We had him managing to open up and hit with a medium laser against the Wolverine. Wolverine didn't fire, but managed to get a couple of punches in against the Marauder. Connected with both, got a head hit and rear torso as well. So a lot of mechs cooling down in this turn. And that's it's the end of turn 10. So we're looking at the end of turn 11. We have the Clint up on its high perch, shooting down. We have the Phoenix Hawk withdrawing off board. We had the Griffin and the Crusader trying to get some fire up onto the Clint. Griffin didn't connect with anything. I don't think the Crusader did. Did he hit with some LRMs?
Yeah, some LRMs.
Small clusters, but the interference is -2 on the clusters as well. So not a lot of missiles hitting. We had some Hail Mary shots from the Thunderbolt with its LRM 15 also going up onto the Clint. Him being up high means that I could get a shot in on him. And then we had the 6M managing to get rear shots on the Marauder. Connected with everything, full bore, stripped a lot of the rear armor on him, but nothing inside, nothing critical. Poor Marauder. Did he connect against the Crusader?
He did. 2 medium lasers.
2 maids
Fuck off.
on the Crusader, but armor is still holding strong on that guy. He got a rear shot on the right torso, but it's still got one bit of armor there.
3 armor critical that damaged the LRM.
And yeah, one of the LRMs in the Crusader is gone. I think it's the right arm. You got a true armor critical, so that's a lot less missiles coming out of the Crusader. Thankfully, he didn't hit one of the 4 ammo bins. Yeah, thankfully he didn't hit one of the 4 ammo bins with that floating critical. So yeah, that's the end of turn 11, and we're going to go into turn 12. So we are looking at the end of turn 12 and the end of the mission due to, what's the mission time?
Operational timeline, 12 turn limits.
There we go. So we have the 12 turn limit. We barely got away with completing our secondary here. We've caused enough damage to the Clint. Got very lucky. Managed to get him with a kick, and he went over in his ear. Caused some more internal damage. So he's internal damage on 3 points. So he counts as crippled, which is the mission objective. The Thunderbolt got super lucky. Opened up with pretty much nearly everything, and only managed to hit with a medium laser, which managed to critical the
left torso ammunition bin.
Left torso ammo bin. So he goes kaboom, which is bad for our salvage, but sure, what can you do? And then that's the end of the mission due to the time constraints on the mission, and we've managed to get the primary and secondary objectives. Overall, I'd say the thing that probably influenced this game the most was the electromagnetic interference, which was a
+2 on all weapons fire, ranged attacks, and -2 on cluster rolls on missiles.
So yeah, that affected massively. And then my unit's ability, because the commander is on the field, which is the 6M, the Wolverine, he was a 2-3 pilot, meant that in close range I had improved shots, but on long range it was one worse. So overall, cumulatively, it was like I had a +1 to my shooting and
better pilots.
Yeah, and better pilots. So I think that's what won the game out for me overall. And in getting lucky. I think this is the most damage I've done in the campaign so far is this mission. But yeah, this is the 3rd mission out of 4. I'll obviously beforehand I'll talk about the previous 2 missions, and then we have the final mission in this track. That will be a withdrawal, where we're being chased down by the Lao forces. So we're trying to get off planet now. We have our contact, or whoever we were picking up, the spy, or insert name here, person that needed to be extracted, is in the Thunderbolt. So we're going to be pulling back to the dropship and looking to get off planet and fighting, holding a retreat. So that's the end of mission 3, lasted until turn 12s. Any final words from the Lao commander?
My dice suck.
And that's it for this one. We'll catch you next one, guys.